is climbing high. Lay down your double-bladed axe, let the restless world go by. The fires are softly glowing, the old stones hold their breath. Come sit beside me, Msoul, tonight we cheat the night of death. No quest to chase, no wars tonight, no need to prove your might. The road can wait till morning comes, for now we're by the firelight. So tuck in and chill, my Msoul, the witching hours begun. Ghost stories, dreams and mysteries, a little mischief just for fun. Stay for a tale, stay for a while, stay till your eyes grow still. From Venus, Callida's haunted halls, welcome to tuck in and chill. I wandered through the frozen lands, a mercenary alone, until I found forgotten ruins and made them into home. Now ancient halls hold lanterns, and weary souls may rest. The brave and mortal souls arrive and stay for what they like best. Some travel on at sunrise, some linger through the years, but every wandering Msoul is welcome through laughter, dreams and fears. So tuck in and chill, my Msoul, the witching hours begun. Ghost stories, dreams and mysteries, a little mischief just for fun. Stay for a tale, stay for a while, stay till your eyes grow still. From Venus, Callida's haunted halls, welcome to tuck in and chill. If you're awake, then tell me the stories that you know, the strange things in your world, the places that you go. If sleep is what you're seeking, then let the old tales play. I'll keep the lantern burning till the shadows fade away. So tuck in and chill, my Msoul, the night is yours to keep. We'll wander through the haunted halls and drift among our dreams. The world can wait beyond the door, the battles wait until. For now, we're safe beneath the moon. Lay down your axe, rest your weary soul. The fire is warm, the night is cold. Sweet dreams, my Msoul, till our next adventure. I'm Venus, Callida, and this night We tuck in and chill.
Hello, 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 everyone. This is Venus Callida, and I hope you love my song. This is the first time I played the full version of it for you. It's something new that I've done this summer because I wanted to upgrade myself a little bit. Now, I decided tonight to tuck in and chill. I really wanted to enjoy the weather out there. We've been having some beautiful weather outside. August is such a nice time. It's cool enough. It's a little bit chilly to have our blankets, to cast our fire, to make a bonfire, to enjoy the moon out there. And I have a mystery romantic ghost story for you, inspired by my friend out there, FanRose FabRose. We also know her as Bounce and Fly Away. FanRose, I thought about you, and I actually got to writing today. I actually just finished writing today, and I'm returning to a very, very OG content style. And oh, give me 1 second here. Move this around. I'm coming back. This content where I've actually taken the time to write some stories. I've got 5 stories for you because when I first started streaming, I was telling you ghost stories of my own experiences, things that I collected myself. But now that we have some of my viewers that do actively talk in the different chat feeds when I'm streaming live, they become part of my lore. And I think about the types of stories they like to hear and the types of stories I used to tell, and that I used to take the time to actually create visuals to help you envision the story while I narrate to you. Now, the stories that I wrote are between 5 to 15 minutes in length, usually less than 10, so it won't last our whole time tonight, but I've only created the visuals for one. I'm pretty proud of it. It's the first time in a while that I've done something like this, and I hope that you will enjoy it. I hope that these are also standalone stories that I can turn into their own videos later. But I hope you will join me. So please get your favorite beverages. I've got some water here, and I'm going to drink to your health and mine right now. It's always good to hydrate. And has anyone been out there buying those Patronus drinks? I tried the Dark Forest. It's an iced tea with like a raspberry. I don't know. It only has 130 calories, so it's the best of the 4. The other 3 are Patronus drinks. The frozen lemonade, it's all very light blue and very pretty. If you look at the glasses, which I didn't know at first, like the plastic cups, the colder the drink is, the more you can see a Patronus show up on your cup. So it's something, if you buy one and then keep it, you can entertain the little kids in your life by pouring them a good glass of water. Anyways, chin chin, everybody. Here we go. Okay. So here we go. I've got things piled on top of each other in the other room. I've also got, I never ate my dinner tonight because I got so interested in writing these stories. They're all a little bit different. They kind of reflect the collection. I'm always trying to find a different setting, a different vibe, a different twist, a different mystery, sometimes humor, sometimes something else. And I stay very far away from smushy mushy romantical stuff, but I know how much FanRose really loves like the dating sims games where we met that we have in common. And so I wanted to lean into that tonight to a story I call The Portrait at Rose Glass House. Now, I'm going to invite you all to tuck yourselves in, get into a comfortable position. If you're just chilling at home tonight, let me keep you company. If I'm your white noise while you're studying or getting ready for going out again later. This one, I don't know, take 10 to 15 minutes. But then we can chit chat. And if you have your own stories you'd like to share afterward, I would love to share. But for tonight, I want to take you to the portrait at Rose Glass House. And for that, Msoul, I won't be able to see the chat window right away. Okay, so I'm just going to put this here in chat. Um, Okay, so I just put that in the chat for anyone popping in a little bit asynchronously from us. I do have a lot. I have like 5 different window frames piled on here. So I'm going to disappear myself to show you my story as I enjoy this lovely summer's evening. Take a big deep breath, Msoul, and get comfy. Eat your munchies. Breathe deep. And it's going to be my voice to your ears, just us, and this original story that I just wrote, and I just finished populating the pictures for it to help you envision this story. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you're seeing this live or asynchronously. Let me know if you'd like more like this. I've written 5 today, so they're going to keep us busy for a couple of weeks. Here we go. The Portrait at Rose Glass House, inspired by FanRose. And I'm going to go back and add episode details later on the weekend to tell you that the pictures that I'm using are either my own artwork, my own avatar, which I own the rights to, or other things downloaded from a news source, which allowed me a set number of downloads per day. So it took a couple days to get them, or cut and paste. But you know how I love my public domain sources, and I will put that for you in the details later, not tonight, because I wanted to make sure I didn't keep you waiting for too long. So here we go. Ahem, ahem. And here we go. Portrait at Rose Glass House, inspired by FanRose, a human who loves the styles of the 90s, who loves hot pink tank tops and big hoop earrings and romance. Here we go. FanRose once told me that she wanted a romantic mystery, not a murder mystery, not a cursed object mystery, not a Venus, why is that skeleton following us mystery, a romantic mystery. She wanted lost love, secret letters, a beautiful old house, perhaps a ghost, and in her words, something with good cheekbones. I told her that the last requirement might be difficult, but then we found Rose Glass House. It belonged to an old family who had recently abandoned it. Nobody knew why. The house was beautiful. Tall windows, black iron balconies, a glass conservatory, and dozens of portraits inside. When we first saw it, FanRose loved it immediately. FanRose was wearing baggy jeans, a hot pink tank top, a matching pink baseball cap, and enormous hoop earrings. Her favorite. Not the usual ghost hunting gear, but it was amusing to hear the swish of her baggy jeans as she twirled around in front of the stately portraits, as if reliving a moment from a fancy ball that these now 2-dimensional figures had once hosted here. Her peaceful humming came to an abrupt halt when FanRose suddenly planted both feet squarely beneath a painting of an elegant woman in a crimson gown. Tilting her head to one side, she called out, "Venus?" "Yes." "She's absolutely gorgeous." "She's been dead for about 100 years, I responded. FanRose nodded. Still gorgeous. FanRose sighed. Her name was Lady Celia Ashbourne. FanRose carefully dusted the bronze nameplate affixed below the sturdy Victorian frame. Venus watched her friend's curious caretaking gesture. She'd seen FanRose fuss over living things before, straightening a crooked flower, brushing a speck of dirt from a friend's sleeve, rescuing moths from windowsills. But this was different. Celia had been dead for a century. There was no reason to polish her name. No one was going to thank FanRose for it. Yet FanRose worked slowly, almost reverently, tracing the edges of the little bronze plate with the corner of her sleeve until the letters caught the light again. Venus narrowed her eyes. Humans were peculiar creatures. They mourned people they had never met, spoke softly to empty rooms, sometimes offered tenderness to the dead without expecting anything in return. FanRose gave that nameplate one final satisfying wipe. Venus said nothing, but she watched her friend a little more carefully. Beside the portrait of Lady Celia Ashbourne was a smaller painting of a young man, Thomas Vale. Studious, steadfast, and quietly handsome, with dark hair, serious eyes, and the sort of expression that suggested he'd been interrupted in the middle of an important thought. FanRose began sharing their mystery with Venus. See, the family story was that Celia and Thomas had been secretly in love. Thomas disappeared before the wedding. Celia never married. She spent the rest of her life looking toward the road from the upper windows. FanRose sighed. Oh, this is perfect. It's a little tragic, Venus commented. Exactly, FanRose exclaimed. Exactly, she exclaimed with enthusiasm. That night we stayed in the house, resolved to poke around and attempt to find clues to solve this romantic tragedy. Just the type of adventure FanRose relished. Well, Venus declared, I guess I'll sleep on the dusty Persian and you can have the dusty canopy. FanRose giggled and bedded down for the night, but it wasn't long before creaks and drafts were drowned out by something much more cultured. At midnight we heard piano music. One melody, repeated 3 times, then silence. FanRose sat upright in bed. Was that a ghost? She whispered nervously. Probably plumbing, Venus answered. It was a piano, FanRose insisted. Haunted plumbing? Venus retorted. She threw a pillow at me. Okay, Venus said. Let's go check it out. So what we're here for, right? We followed the music downstairs. The piano sat in the ballroom. Nobody was playing. But strangely, one key was depressed, and it wasn't moving. A single sheet of music rested on the stand. The title, For C. Oh. FanRose looked at me with bated breath and she said, Venus. Yes? That's romantic. FanRose's eyelashes seemed to flutter as her cheek sunk into her hand and she leaned over the piano, tracing the lettering with her fingertip. Could also be plumbing, Venus responded dryly. FanRose glared. As a Death Knight, Venus had faced many beasts, demons, and otherworldly nightmares, but the glare of that very dreamy soul was enough to make the belf straighten her shoulders, turn back toward the banister. Best not to let FanRose catch the corner of the Death Knight's mouth rising up, ever so slightly in bemusement. Bedtime, milady, Venus shouted over her shoulder. I think the serenade has concluded this evening. FanRose skipped hurriedly behind her friend, eager to catch some Z's and get an early start on all the snooping, exploring, we were going to get up to tomorrow. The next morning we searched the house. We found 12 letters hidden behind the piano, all from Thomas to Celia. They were beautiful, but they contained something strange. Thomas repeatedly referred to a meeting at the conservatory. Then suddenly the letters stopped. FanRose became determined. We searched the conservatory. Nothing. Then she noticed something beneath the rose bushes, a small metal box. Inside was a photograph. Celia and Thomas standing together. On the back, someone had written, "We were never allowed to marry." FanRose was devastated. Who stopped them? I don't know, Fan. Then we heard the piano again. 3 notes. B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A. For C, it's the music. You could tell from the photograph. They seem to really love each other. It's really a shame that they were never able to marry. Though impervious to death, the Death Knight's arm hair seemed to rise as the echo of the soft tune worked its way through the corridors again. B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A. Welcome, FanRose. I am so glad you have arrived because you and I are in the rose glass house. And we are trying to solve the mystery of Celia and her beloved, who we've just found out were never allowed to be married. And Venus couldn't abandon her friend FanRose, not to this broken-hearted story. We were resolved to solving this romantic mystery. Also, who was playing that piano? We were quite sure we had already searched the premises. And we were very sure there was no living being there, other than FanRose, and well, if you count a Death Knight, me. Hearing the music again, FanRose called out, "Celia?" A woman's voice answered from the hallway. "Yes." We turned. A ghost stood there. She was wearing the crimson dress from the portrait. FanRose froze. Venus did not. Instinctively, the Death Knight had extended a hand, and frost began emanating from her palm. Unperturbed, the ghost pointed toward her portrait, then disappeared. Venus closed her fingers to retract the defensive cast and stepped forward to examine the painting. The hot breath of her human companion brushed past her ear as FanRose leaned forward to examine the portrait herself. FanRose pondered. What is she trying to show us here? "There," she declared. "See what's wrong with it?" She bounced excitedly as she tapped her fingertip against the painting. Then Venus saw it too. Celia's necklace was painted incorrectly. The real necklace was a family heirloom displayed in a case in a local heritage museum that the inquisitive duo had visited when doing preliminary research about this site. I see, stated Venus. The painted necklace has a tiny key attached to it. A key, FanRose shouted as she spun around on her high tops and rushed towards Celia Ashwood's bedroom on the second floor. Let's go! No dice, Venus declared after many minutes of frantically upturning the elegant master bedroom. She followed a determined FanRose back to the portrait corridor. She mused for many minutes in front of the lovers' silent replicas. Venus began to ponder the skull paperweight in the youthful man's depiction. Often humans would include artifacts to prove their wealth, literacy skills, favorite tokens of culture and political awareness of the day. Usually for a woman, a Bible, and an even more elite woman, a cookbook. And funny, this young man thought it important to show a skull, albeit to prove scientific intelligence. For a death knight, a skull held other significations. Venus's attention wavered too, considering raising the ghoul chick for some comic relief, but her reflexes were interrupted as FanRose followed Venus's eyes to the flare in Thomas Vale's portrait. The skull. And excitedly she yelped, "The study! Where he studied! Let's go! It's downstairs!" Venus refocused her, stealthily followed FanRose in hot pursuit for the tiny key. Running our fingers across finely carved oak and cherry wood furniture, hoping to dislodge a secret panel, we found the key in a tiny music box, hidden below a false-bottom drawer in an old desk. "Jackpot!" FanRose held the tiny key up triumphantly. We further searched for a tiny keyhole to accommodate our new treasure, and finally we discovered that it opened a drawer in the ladies' parlor. Inside was a marriage certificate. Celia and Thomas had actually been married, secretly, years before his supposed disappearance. FanRose was alight, her eyes flushing. Her cheeks are flushing, and her eyelashes fluttering once more. FanRose stared at the document with glassy eyes. "So the family lied?" "Yes," Venus answered flatly. "But why?" FanRose pressed. We searched further. FanRose let out a gasp. The sun was beginning to set when we finally found the final letter. Thomas had not abandoned Celia. He had left because her family had threatened to destroy his career and imprison him for a crime he hadn't committed. They had framed him, and he hadn't the money to fight it, so he fled. Celia, partly being afraid of poverty and partly being afraid of causing a scandal to her family's name, had waited for him to return. She had waited behind. She had waited. But there was another twist. Venus cleared her throat and translated the last letter they had found out loud. "It says here that Thomas returned. Years later. Years later. He came back to Rose Glass House, and Celia had refused to see him." FanRose looked horrified. "Why?" she asked incredulously. Venus creased her brows and shook her head. "That's all he wrote. His letters are just begging her to talk to him." The Death Knight dropped the last letter to the dusty old desk. Determined to solve this mystery, the duo pressed on. The answer was finally found in Celia's diary. "Oh, no, 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 no," FanRose moaned. "No. Basically," she explained, "Celia believed Thomas had abandoned her. She wrote about it in her diary. She never received his letter. She never heard another word of him after he left. In her mind, he never came back." Venus interjected. "Oh, the family must have intercepted them." FanRose continued reading. "She spent decades believing the man she loved had simply stopped caring." Venus continued. and Thomas died believing Celia had rejected him. Neither of them knew the truth. FanRose closed the diary. That is horrible, she declared. Yes, the Death Knight agreed. Can we fix it? FanRose queried. They're dead, Venus stated flatly, shaking her head. FanRose looked at her frosty friend dead in the eyes and stated, That's never stopped you before. Fair, the Death Knight conceded. Fair to true that. That night, FanRose returned to the ballroom. She placed the marriage certificate on the piano next to the song composed for C. Her once husband had written her a love song. Those were the notes that had been playing. FanRose put the photograph of the couple beside the marriage contract. I don't know if you can hear me, FanRose called out, but you were married, and he did come back, and you were both lied to. You both loved each other. You've always loved each other. The room became very cold. Nothing of Venus's doing. And the ghost of Celia appeared beside the piano. Then another figure appeared in the doorway. A young man. Thomas. They looked at each other, and neither moved. FanRose whispered, Oh, Venus! And she instinctively reached her hand out toward her friend. Venus grasped her hand gladly, and they watched quietly as the two ghosts drifted toward each other, then stopped. Celia reached for him. Thomas reached for her. Their hands touched, if you will, and the piano played the melody once more for C. As the tones of the last notes resonated to the ears of the living in the room, both ghosts vanished. Oh, FanRose wiped her eyes. I need a minute. Venus gave her one. Then FanRose looked at her friend, quietly asking, You know what I learned? What? Never let your family manage your mail. A very sensible lesson, the Death Knight agreed. We left Roseglass House very late into the night. But something bothered me as I passed through the corridors for the final time. The portrait. Celia's painted necklace had changed. The little key was gone, and in its place was a tiny golden ring. FanRose noticed it too, and she smiled. Oh, a happy ending. Perhaps, I conceded. She smacked me on the shoulder with her baseball cap and put it back on. Her big hoop earrings jingled as we walked outside the door. Then FanRose stopped. Venus? Yes. She pointed back toward the upper window. Two figures stood there, if you will. Celia and Thomas, together. And they were waving. FanRose waved back. I did too. It was a peculiar human custom, but why not? Then the figures disappeared. The house was sold a few months later, and the new owners restored the ballroom. They kept that grand piano, and FanRose excitedly told me that the family had chosen to keep the portraits. Such a romantic gesture! I chuckled at the thought of how this discovery made my friends feel such joy. So I felt compelled to inquire a little further for her sake. Her sake. And according to the story I heard afterward, every year on the anniversary of Celia and Thomas's secret wedding, the piano plays their melody for C. Once. Only once. Always at midnight. No one has ever found anyone playing it. FanRose insists that means they finally got their happy ending. I agree. Mostly. Because she still hasn't explained how she managed to leave Rose Glass House with one of the old portrait's painted roses tucked into her purse. And I distinctly remember the painting being behind glass. But that's FanRose's mystery. I promised not to ask. And this, an original story, written by me, Venus Callida, inspired by my very romantic friend who loves the dating sims. I know as much as I do, I have to admit. A story I like to call The Portrait at Rose Glass House. And I am so super excited, FanRose, that you made it here in time to hear and see the story you inspired. Our ghostly, mystery, romantasy. And here I am, just chilling, all tucked in, hanging out, telling my ghost stories. That's an original I wrote with you in mind, and I wrote it just today, FanRose. I hope you love it. I hope you like it. And of course, if you would like any sequels, prequels, or alternative types of stories, I'm high-fiving you right now because I hope you love it. I am going to clip this so that it can stand alone as its own story, which I'll put into the Get Some Sleep With Me section later. And it's only one. I wrote 5 stories, but I would love to write more. If you like this one, you can, of course, give me, you can throw up in the chat or in the post other kinds of mysteries, places, settings. But I figured I had to do a ghost mystery, which was a romance. And you know I rarely touch romances, and I couldn't play it off all gushy and mushy. I had to throw a little something something in there for us. A little bit of Death Night, a little bit of romantic friend, a little bit of fun. I really enjoyed writing it, and I had fun producing it, and I ad-libbed a little bit along the way to give it a little more description. But I hope you like it. And that was my story for you. Now you're going to hear some clicking because I'm going to maneuver some things around now, okay? I hope you like it. And I didn't make any visuals for any of the other stories that I wrote today, but and I'm covering up monitor number 2 now. But I'm so glad. I hope you found that entertaining. You are my inspiration for that one. Yeah. And I'm just moving a couple of things around. And if you would like to share a story, FanRose, I would be happy to hear it. And if not, I could tell you another story. We could do other things. Did you get Polly, by the way? And you can pick any topic you would like. And if you'd like me to make some more game shows, I know that we used to play Game Now. I haven't made any recently. I don't think we ever did the 4th one, so I'm just going to save it for next Christmas, to be honest. Yeah. And I hope you appreciate it. I found a pink bandana. I think that was a Gucci purse. It looks like a pink bandana. Oh, you got Polly the first time around? I didn't get the last batch of tickets, but I did get enough tickets to get Mio a new outfit. I'm finally so glad she could finally be in a new outfit. That's just the fun for me. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Well, I could pose this at you. I don't know if you're just passing through and off to something else soon, or if you'd like to share a story with us. I could read another of my original stories tonight. They're all between 5 and 15 minutes to tell, but I don't have any more visuals, so it's just me and you. Um, or we could play a round of Hush Hush if you wanted, or I could play Crush Crush Blush Blush. It's not a lot I can do without the special events going on anymore, just because they require so much and the crystal hearts to move the levels around now. And so much that, like, trillions of dollars is not enough anymore for that. But it's there. And I also could pull up Hogwarts, um, whatever you want. Oh, yay. Um, I didn't have time to make visuals for any other stories tonight. I wrote your, ironically, so I had you in mind when I was brainstorming, but yours was the last story that I wrote today, and yet the first one I wanted to populate because I liked it. So, yeah, the visuals. I can't make animated movies. I'm not that skilled, but I did use my own assets as well as some things from free sources. And I will come back later in the weekend. No, that was my first story of the evening. Um, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but as of last week, I had created Song for Tuckin' and Chill with its own pre and post screen. And I also did the same for our Tuesday night cooking shows now. Now, FanRose, I thought I had done two cooking shows for you, and I don't know if I did them both. I know we did the tower sandwich one, and I can't remember if we did the seafood one for you. But we're gonna go this Tuesday to the espresso bar at Cordrogue's house on Tuesday, and then I want to come back around for others. So if there's a type of foodie night that you would like me to do, let me know that as well, and I'll tailor something for you. Hmm. Yesterday I made cactus tacos. It was different. The mole I made was really, really good though. Um, and I'm gonna a whole bunch of recipes that I've done over the summer that I haven't even shared yet. But okay, Fanrose, I'm gonna give you a choice of story. Now I haven't edited any of the others. Yours is the only one I kind of had time to add some details to. So it's still a bit rough. I might still alter things a little. But I'll tell you the names of the stories, and I'll let you pick the one you'd like to hear. One of them is called The Three Lanterns of Grey Wake. One of them is The Lady in Cabin 7. One of them is The Orchard at Midnight. Because, I talk about having an enchanted orchard now that I do my cooking shows. Let me see, this one is The Inn Where Nobody Slept. If you remember, Fanrose, you were here when we used to have Marcus Blackwell coming in, and I think he's the one, or Dr. Frederick. No, it was Marcus Blackwell, and he wrote this story about Finch, a fan story for me about how Finch met Venus on the road in a winter storm, and she escorted the little girl, the little merchant Finch, to the next town over so she would be safe. Well, I've always wanted a sequel, and so The Inn Where Nobody Slept is kind of based on that. Um, Enchanted Orchard. Okay, let's do it. And are you munching on anything today? I made a stew today, and I put hot sauce on it. So I'm doing my stew. Okay, the orchard at midnight. So that at least goes with my full moon over here. Although these trees are much more spread out, but I hope you don't mind that I don't have a visual for this one, but I will eventually develop this with some visuals later. But here it is. And if you have any suggestions, you can write it in the comments, and then I'll go back and review them later. Ooh, chicken breasts. Okay, I'm going to drink some water with you right now. Here's my water. I'm shaking it hard so you can hear it. To your health and mind, FanRose, and thank you for being the inspiration for one of my stories. Okay. Oh, and bon appetit over there. That sounds yummy. All right, I'm ready. Cheers, ching ching. All right, now, The Orchard at Midnight, an original story. I wanted to write ghost stories, but of different kinds. So all of my stories are a little bit original from each other. They're not the same type or genre exactly. So, another ghostly mystery. The Orchard at Midnight. The first rule of my enchanted orchard is simple. Do not pick the silver apples after midnight. The second rule is, if you accidentally pick one, do not eat it. The third rule exists because someone ignored the first two. That someone was Jick. As you know, FanRose, that's my ghoul. When I make a call to the cemetery, he pops up. All right. So before Jick became my ghoul, Jick was an elegant blonde elf paladin with beautiful hair. True story. He was the first guy I used to game with in WoW. And he had impeccable manners and an absolutely astonishing ability to make bad decisions look dignified. He once picked a silver apple at midnight, then he disappeared for exactly 13 minutes. When he returned, he was standing on the roof of my cottage, holding an apple. "Venus," he called down. "Yes?" "I've discovered something." "You're on my roof." "Yes." "That wasn't what I meant." He looked at the apple. "This orchard contains a ghost." Now, I have a garden. I have plants that occasionally move when they shouldn't. I have battle pets that have tried to bite visitors. We'll see. Okay, so in the World of Warcraft, the Horde will sit on top of the roof at Goldshire so they can peg off the newbies on the Alliance in the PvP realms. I find it hilarious. I am not particularly impressed by the existence of a ghost. I mean, no biggie to a death knight, but Jick was. He told me he'd heard a woman singing between the trees, that he'd seen a white figure. Then he'd heard someone whisper his name. Check. Check. I asked him what the woman had said, and he looked embarrassed. "She said, 'Put that back.'" I stared at him. He stared at me. "Jick?" "Yes?" "Put it back." So he did. The following night, the silver apple was gone. In its place was a footprint. Bare. Human. Leading into the orchard. I followed it. At the edge of the trees, I found a little stone marker. There was a name carved into it. Elspeth Vale. I had never heard of her, but between the name was a date, 200 years old, and beneath that, one final line. She was looking for what was stolen. Now, that interested me. I searched the orchard. Nothing. Then I noticed something strange. The silver apples weren't growing randomly. They formed a pattern, a spiral. At the center was an old tree I'd always assumed was dead. I dug around its roots and found a small iron box amongst them. Inside was a necklace, a beautiful thing. Green stone, silver setting, very old. The moment I touched it, the orchard went completely silent. The woman whispered behind me, "Thank you." I turned. Nobody was there. The next morning I took the necklace to Cordrogue. She examined it for approximately 3 seconds. Then she said, "Oh." I dislike it when wise people say, "Oh." "What?" She turned the necklace over. There was a tiny symbol carved into the silver. It belonged to Elspeth Vale. And so she was buried here? No, Cardrogue frowned. She was murdered here. The story emerged slowly. Elspeth had been a traveling herbalist. She carried the necklace as a family heirloom. Someone had stolen it from her. She had pursued the thief to the orchard and never returned. The thief was eventually caught, but the necklace was never recovered. Until us. I returned it to the tree. That night, the woman appeared. This time I could see her clearly. She smiled. Then she walked toward the orchard gate. I followed. At the gate she stopped and pointed. There, beneath the old stone wall, was a second iron box. Inside were several letters. The final letter was written by the thief. He confessed that he'd hidden the necklace beneath the tree, but he also admitted something else. Elspeth hadn't been murdered. She had survived. She had left the region under another name. The ghostly legend had been built around a disappearance that had never happened. I sat down. The ghost looked at me. I looked at the letters. Then I looked at her. "You've been haunting my orchard for 200 years because someone misplaced your jewelry?" She shrugged. Honestly, it was difficult to argue. Then she disappeared. The next morning the silver apples were gone. All of them. Except one. I picked it up. There was a bite mark in it. I called for Jick. He appeared in the doorway. I held up the apple. "Did you do this?" He looked offended. "Of course not. Jick, I swear." We stared at each other. Then something moved behind him. A pale woman appeared in the window. She raised one finger and pointed at the apple. Jick slowly turned around. The woman vanished. He looked back at me. "Huh? What does she want?" I took a bite of the apple. Nothing happened. It was a death night. I could risk it, right? I swallowed it. Still nothing. Then I heard a woman's voice beside my ear. "Too sour." I dropped the apple. Jick laughed. I chased him around the garden with his shovel, laughing at me? Yeah, laughing at me? The ghost never appeared again. But every year on the same night, one silver apple appears on the old tree. And beside it is a little green leaf. I leave it there. Some ghosts want revenge. Some want justice. And some, apparently, simply want someone to admit that their apples need more sugar. Dun dun dun! And that's why I harvest from my enchanted orchard and do my cooking show on Tuesday nights for Riddle Me Din Din. Now, I don't know what you think of this particular story, Msoul, but I had a lot of fun with it. And in my mind, the visuals are really great. What do you think, FanRose? Would you risk biting into my silver apple? Not a loaded question at all. I was just envisioning Snow White, and, well, I'm thinking she would pass on that one. But how about you? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I wish I had an apple to bite into, but I do have a carrot. Oh, you already ate it? Oh, you've already eaten it! FanRose. Now maybe we need a sequel. What do you think happens to you when you eat the silver apple? Was it you who made the bite mark? Was Jick actually telling me the truth? Oh, that's hilarious. So, but you know what he said? When he bit into it, he disappeared for 13 seconds. So I guess, hey, invisibility apple. That's epic. so sorry. I just got a bit of hot sauce. Okay. It teleported you into an alternate dimension. You know, now that we've talked about this, I think somehow I feel like a sequel's coming on because the lore of my little universe has just grown. I'm gonna have silver apples in a little set of boxes out there with Elspeth in it. All right. Well, do you feel like you have time for one more story this evening? Um, is there any other topic you want to chit chat about, or any ideas you have for the ramblings of a death knight? I'm going to keep moving around my tucking in chills to different locations. I've found so many new ones that are so cool to look at. I think I'm going to have to find myself some new nightgowns or something. That I have one, but I ran out of time, so I just threw anything on. This whole thing. Well, I do have a couple more original stories. Let me see here. We've got the Three Lanterns of Greywake, The Lady in Cabin 7. Or The Inn Where Nobody Slept. Dun, 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 dun. No, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get interviews. Work is something where I've been actively trying to find a different job or a different field. I found Google Garage online, which has free courses. So right now I'm doing one of their marketing courses. They're totally free. There's also IBM has free courses online. Between them, some of them supposedly lead to real certificates you can put to build a new resume. So I'm doing the marketing one first just to see if I can apply any of it to my channel to see if I can help our channel grow a little more. But right now I'm not sure if I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm technically still employed somewhere, but um I'm I'm really increasingly not wanting to stay there anymore. I'd like to have a situation that we're treated better in our day-to-day life, not being punished for going to work, you know. I'm one of these people that I think would be better in a studious job or something, like where office politics doesn't ruin the day. I don't even know what that would be anymore, but I'm not good with that stuff. Um, I don't like adult bullies in the workplace. I really hate it so bad, and it seems to be very prevalent in my field now. It wasn't like that when I started, but it is like that now, and it's like not so good. However, up until this week, I've been swimming anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 hours a day, almost every day for the whole summer. Um, so I want to dare say that I'm a little bit fitter, and I've gotten some compliments from people. Um, a couple of friends I went to see earlier in the summer walked right past me in a mall. I went into town to just visit, and they didn't recognize me, so that's a good sign. um, so on the personal front, I've had the time to take care of my health a little bit. I unfortunately got sick, um, and so I'm just recovering from that. So I'm taking a couple days off from swimming, but I used that time to clean my apartment so good that I actually like it right now. And I've been telling people, if you want to see a nice apartment, come now before I mess it all up again. But I decided something today. I spent a little bit of money on two pieces. I have a steampunk costume. I sewed a steampunk dress, which I'm going to turn into a skirt. And then I have this like Edwardian kind of black pinstripe, half see-through, like Georgette blouse kind of thing. So what I bought was a type of a corset belt with another belt that runs around it that holds apothecary vials as well as like a money pouch to be steampunk. It's a steampunk style, which I think pulls the whole look together. And I got some Victorian style boots, like the heel boots. Hopefully they won't be too painful to walk in. And I like steampunk, and I've done it in the past, but a lot of my accessories and stuff are outdated, or I don't know. I'm gonna remake some things. I don't have a headpiece, but I do have steampunk goggles, so I figure I'll just treat them like a headband and do something with my hair. And if I could find, I know I have an old-fashioned watch that I'm going to wear. And I know I have some pieces that I'm going to detach from the old stuff and try to remake them, refurbish into something else. But I'm going to go with like steampunk healer kind of thing. I do like the medic hats, but I didn't buy one because they're too expensive. But I just bought two pieces that are the pieces I can't fake, and the rest I'm going to just repurpose. But I think that's all I need. And I figure, because in September, I don't remember when, but let's say a month from now, there will be a steampunk festival. I like to go cosplay there because I haven't been to a steampunk one yet. I've been a steampunk at like Fan Expo in Toronto. So I'm gonna go to that. It's a local thing. I forget the town, but it's somewhere that I can drive to in a day trip. So I decided to do that. And once the pieces get here, I'm going to start making again. So right now I'm enjoying a clear apartment. I've been on a trampoline, so I haven't been swimming, but I've been walking like 13,000 steps a day or so, and doing the trampoline on top of that. So, yeah. So tell me about how your week has been. What's new? What's got your interest these days? And do you have any Am I the Void Hole stories? Because I don't know if you know, but I started a subreddit called Am I the Void Hole? So that kind of like the Am I the Butthole, but I want to call it Void Hole, sort of Azerothian style. And if you've got any stories, please feel free to submit or go in and upvote or downvote. So far, I put stories in just to get it started, but I'm not sure how to get seen. And the Am I the A-hole people won't let me post my stuff there so I can get seen. So I'm just spreading the word this way. And I'll say, I was worried that I was running out of ideas, but once I get an idea, I do churn out a few things at a time. So that's been pretty fun. That part's been making me feel good. That I've got some new stories that we've heard today. And I really like the one I made for you. There are two car shows I'm going to be working on that I went to 2 days of car shows. So there will be some music videos coming up for that. Oh yeah, you've been very calm. Lots of cleaning. Me too. Mmm. Oh no. If you can get ice in a bowl and keep it near you, as it melts, it will let out the coolness. I know that's not a best fix, but if you put it in like a fan behind it, it will blow the cold air towards you. And I always do the open the fridge and stand in front of the freezer door. Mmm. Mmm. Because it's a guaranteed job, right? That's a scary thing to do. I will say this to you. Be a security guard with a security guard license. It's just like a month or so of initial training. You pay for your license. You have to make sure you pay to renew it every so many years. You can get at least $18 an hour with Garda. Garda's all across the country. But you get paid more if you work in an airport. I don't know if you're near an airport, but security guards guaranteed have work. You may get stuck with night shifts at first. There are definitely more guys than girls in it, and some of them, if they pass psychological profiles after they've been working for the company, Garda has great training programs. Working in an airport is really great. Um, Also, if you want to see the world, there are stewardesses. Although, I don't know what's going on with all those commercials. Do you see those commercials in Canada about how our stewardesses are not getting paid? I don't understand what's going on. I think that's WestJet. And if you're near an army base, they sometimes have civilian jobs too. Um, Government jobs, if you know how to speak any French, you could probably get a government job pretty fast. Uh, Also, if you can swim, if you become a lifeguard, I know 18-year-olds that are getting paid $35 an hour as a lifeguard in indoor pools because they're lifesavers. It's a big deal to be a lifeguard. I used to work for Garda and I started as a file clerk. But yeah, some of the guards, because they know they use it as a stepping stone to become a police officer, if you pass their psychological fitness test, you can carry a gun in certain jobs. But I think you have to take training programs and pass their profiles first. Yeah. Um, I have a friend who's a professional dancer. He's also a professional like weight trainer, like a bodybuilder in his personal time. Goes to competitions. He's a lifeguard. He's also a dance teacher, but as a lifeguard. Like that's a starting salary for an 18-year-old. It's 35 bucks an hour. Like that's a really good that's really good. Yeah. If you can swim. Take that I think it takes like a month to do the lifeguard program. Ooh, accountant, that's right. That's a good stable job. Oh, I failed accounting. I'll tell you that I tried it twice and I could do all the basics. I can balance synoptic journals for my family business, all that. But when they give you the accounting test and it's all this like stuff that a client has all these exceptions and they want you to find deals for them, I get so confused that I fail. Yeah. Um while you were doing accounting, was there anything else you were studying that was fun for you, like something you enjoyed? Oh. I just think everyone who goes to the military is so brave. My dad wanted me to do it, but I was afraid. And I'm going to tell you why. And I know this sounds so horrible, but it's an original thing. I wasn't allowed to date going through school, and yet you want me to go to the military where you have to shower naked in front of people you don't know. I had a problem with that. I'll tell you that was why. And if I could have bypassed it and just worked on one of the bases as like a civilian teacher, I would have tried to do that, but I never saw those opportunities in the times when I was looking at it. Um, but yeah, some people, I know someone in my guild who was a medic as opposed to, and then another one on the same guild who was a sniper. Um, and I know another guy who was in a different branch. His job was to get on his stomach and use the eraser side of a pencil to tap at things that could be landmines and disarm them. He's a very calm person. I met him through after he finished with the military. He retired and then he went to work as a security guard in a dispatch office. Hmm. I love all that stuff too. I did I did a master's in history. Let me tell you, that didn't get me any jobs at all. And my minor was political science. And my mom wanted me to stay and do like a doctorate and be a professor and all that. And I wish I had listened to her, but I didn't want to be trapped in school forever. And ironically, I am anyways. um, I'm so sorry you were having a hard time last year, but if it helps you to know, I failed it twice. I could learn all the theories and yet the exams I just would be so confused. I couldn't. I can balance a book no problem, but I don't understand like doing somebody's taxes. But if I could save you from going to the military, I know there's like benefits in it. Like some people, you get a house with it if you stay on a base. Um, Downside, I don't know anyone who went through the system who stayed with one partner and didn't cheat and or get cheated on. I'll just tell you that because I guess everyone keeps having to be deployed, so it makes it really hard to be with the person you want to be with. Um, yeah, having to sit still. It is a problem, isn't it? And the time limit when you get it, but you just need more processing. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. Do you know what kind of branch of military you're thinking of? Like Marines and Navy and Air Force and uh Army, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds of things. Oh man. The thing that I know of most of my friends who went when they hit 18 to 21, was that in the first 2 months of doing all the marching, that their knees hurt. So if you have a bad knee, it's not a good thing to do. Okay. I met a lady. She used to be my neighbor back when I lived in the other place, and she was my next door neighbor, and she was a retired. Uh, those is MP like those police that find the AWOL people and bring them back. That was her job. And on her and in her free time, she was a race car driver. Pretty interesting person. Military, yeah. She had a great career doing that. Um, she was my next door neighbor up until I moved where I am now, and a very practical person. Oh, yeah, being clumsy. If anybody could like fall off a stationary bike, it would be me. That's how bad I am with a bicycle. But I was really great with rollerblades and roller skates. I can skate. I can't really keep bicycles aren't my thing. Um, so I guess you finished school. I remember when I was driving through Alberta and I was passing by Regina where I was visiting a friend of mine from school, and they have a whole like university out there specifically for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And I know I met a very tall girl that was like 6'1", and she's like, her family, the guys were all mounted police, so she was thinking of doing it because she could wrap her legs around those big horses. She was a lovely, lovely girl. Um, she could have been a model, and she wanted to be mounted police. I don't know. Can you ride a horse? But my hat's off to anyone who's got the guts to go and do that. Um, I do know a lot of people that would just do the volunteer training sessions. You get $1,000 a month in the summertime to do just the reserves, and for 4 years you're basically on call as reserves. Maybe I don't know if you'd want to try looking into something like that first, or if you're gonna just dive all the way in. I don't know. You can't pedal a bike either. Ah, we have so much in common. um Was your dad military? Or would you be the first one in your family to be military if you did it? My grandfather was conscripted, so when they tried to get my dad to volunteer, my grandfather apparently had a real fit and marched down to the government office and ripped up the papers and threw them in their face because he moved across the country to get away from war and not watch his kids die in it. And I don't want to scare you. I want you to be safe. While you're waiting to make that decision, since accounting wasn't your thing, can you detour your degree in some way? Like, could you turn it into teacher's college or something like that? Um, oh, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I know very few Canadians who've done it, but I know a lot, like almost all of my American friends have done it. I don't know a lot of Canadians. I don't know them directly. Oh, you're retaking them? Oh my goodness. If you get an accounting certificate, why would you go to the military? Unless you wanted to be a military accountant. Because with a degree like that, you make good money. Work for the government, be an auditor. I won't hate you. Do everybody's taxes every year. Then you can do your whole family's taxes and try to save them some money. That's a good degree, man. Yeah, I'm just trying the free stuff online. I don't know if it'll get me a job, but I figure, well, I've got the time to do it a couple more weeks. Oh my goodness, is it the 21st of August? Like this summer flew by. I always feel like July goes by way too fast. Just way too fast. August, we're getting to the time of the year where it's nice breeze out. The weather's been really lovely lately. Oh. Um, so there's the government jobs. There's the if you become part of HR for certain firms, they have their own in-house people sometimes. So think creatively and check out companies you like if you might want to work in-house with them. Um, and all those tax agencies who do audits and stuff. Yeah, the government jobs. I guess keep watching now. If you can get a co-op in one, that will always get you like a reference and um if they like you, maybe they keep you. I don't know. I'm not sure. Wait, but my dad's an immigrant. You're not allowed to work. Do you know how many people are on the phone working for the government that don't talk like they were raised here? You might have told me before. Because my dad's a direct immigrant. Hmm. I'm the first one from my family born here, actually. Huh. Somehow I feel like you could be a part of like an HR team. Even for like school boards never run out of money. Um, I guess the scary thing would be to start your own firm too. Like some people get together with other people and someone owns like an office space and then you rent a room out of the space. You know, they even make hairdressers do that now. Those kids that do hair, they're paying for their chair that they use to do their job while they're there. That's a different thing. I learned that. Fiorio. His smile dropped? Why? Is there anyone like anyone in your family that has a family business you could practice with? I don't know. Hmm. By chance, can you try to target working for companies now? Like on a part-time basis, that would be like a relevant inroads to the job later? What is national students? Oh. Um, don't overwhelm yourself, but I would say start now in brainstorming where you might want to work, who you might want to work for. Look at all the big companies that might have those types of people in-house for themselves. Hmm. Oh man. Uh, hmm. Do you think that Oh, I'm so sorry. I just Ooh, hot sauce. I like breathed it in before I swallowed it. Ugh. Um, the things that you have to retake, are they things that you think you just needed more time to work with the concepts, or um like are you interested in, or is it that you became too overwhelmed with just like life in general to not have enough time to study? I know it was hard. I couldn't study at home. It was not possible. Hmm. What I discovered too late was that a summer school course was always easier to get an A than the regular season. I don't know why. Or seen that way. Have you got any new interests? Like I've been binge watching this show that came from 1999 to 2003 and it was called The Tribe. And I honestly find most of the storyline pretty annoying, but I never saw it at the time that it was a new thing. So I'm watching it now and kind of wondering where these characters, where the actors are nowadays, because they were teenagers then. No, you will not fail. You will try and try again. Plus, it's, yeah, I found that the stuff that I do on computers now, the amount of times I can tell you, the year that I started doing this, that I was crying because things weren't working. And even now, I get upset that rookie things are happening that are going wrong. And it's like, why? And I was so professional for 2 years, so strict with it. And now this year, there's so many things going off. Well, I'm also trying to get better. And I was telling my brother the other day, like, the programs I was using, what I was using to make my visuals and stuff are so different than what I'm doing now. But I didn't understand even I didn't understand anything when I started, and I've been learning as I go, so it's evolved a lot. Um, and some problems I'm just learning how to fix now. But it's not a fail, it's just we learn differently. And sometimes I stare at something, and I don't get it because I've never done it before. And then suddenly one day you just find a new perspective and you can go back to the other stuff and say, why was that a problem? But know that you've really learned it. You made a connection. It's just like, what angle do you come at it from? What source or what teacher or what YouTube video explains it in the way where it connects, and then you can like take off with it. Oh, you're watching old animes. Traction, I've been watching some anime too. Exorcist Ninja Story called Bleach. I've heard of Bleach. I don't know if I've seen it, to be honest, but I love ninjas. So I've heard of it though. So Traxxer probably knows it, to be honest with you. But I will look it up now. Because I've heard of it. So I can't help but think that at Anime North I might have seen it. Some of it. Not the whole thing. Exorcist Ninja Story. I can't remember what we were watching, but he's on a binge watch right now too. Sometimes we watch them together. Okay. Then I'm thinking, I'm writing it down. So you're hearing me, I'm writing it down. Ninja Story. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I'll see what that's all about. Yeah, I've been binge watching something called The Tribe, and it's like most of it is angsty, dumb stuff, but I just can't stop looking. And I've made it into their final season. They had 4 seasons, so it's like a post-apocalypse. A virus takes out all the adults. So now, what do the kids do? It's sort of a Pygmalion kind of a thing. Hmm. Yeah. How's the weather for you? So we've had clear skies. I didn't get to see any of the meteor showers. 300 episodes. Okay. Well, humor sounds like my cup of tea. So I'll be going for that for sure. I'm forgetting to smile. I'm trying to smile at you. I'm trying something new and I've got my camera's clipped up higher than me, but the lens is somehow I have to angle this strangely, so I have to play with it because it makes me look like I'm turning in directions when I'm facing forward, and I have to face away in order to make my head look forward, but then it doesn't always catch my mouth. I'm still eating my dinner. Rainfall. Oh. It was actually kind of chilly in the morning, but then the afternoon was really nice. We had a tornado a week ago, which was different. And we had a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you've had those forest fire smoke coming in the air over there. Well, we had about 3 days where the air was like brown. And I'm even now still trying to wipe out the brown soot from in between the windows. That was different. That was a different experience. And our friends over in Europe are getting a bit of rain too right now. Mm. So I've been bad, and I admit I've been eating those Harry Potter donuts. Today I had the blueberry one, and a couple days ago I tried the strawberry cheesecake one. And the one that surprised me, of course, I tried Slytherin first a couple weeks ago, and it's pistachio with chocolate, and I didn't mind it at all. I actually think it was a better one of the three that I tried. I've been wanting sweets so bad, and I've been good for most of the summer, and I'm scared because I don't want to gain weight, but that's why I've been walking and doing the trampoline even more. But I'm back to cooking good foods again. I'm cooking everything from scratch, so. But I had the donut. There's one left calling my name, which is the Hufflepuff one. It's a lemon meringue flavored donut. But then I'll never do it again. But I tried their iced tea because it had the least calories, and all the Patronus drinks are a nice baby blue color. I love the color, but their calories are pretty high. So I'm assuming it has, and the frozen lemonade is the one with the most calories, so it's probably got a lot of sugar in it. But the one I tried was the dark forest, which is a raspberry iced tea. It looks like green swamp water, but it tastes really good. So, and that had 130 calories, which is the same as a donut, I guess. So I've been indulging. I've been indulging in the days that I haven't been swimming. So as long as I don't gain any weight, I go back to being normal soon, then that'll be okay. But yeah, once I tried one, the sweet tooth came rushing back. The problem is I know how to bake. So like if I get icing sugar and you've got some water, lemon juice, some butter, you've got a tub of icing really fast. You just have to stir it up so it's nice and smooth. Throw in a little bit of water, lemon juice. You've got royal icing. And you can add cocoa powder to it if you want it to be chocolatey. I don't know if I'm making this worse for you. I'm making it worse for me. Most of this ingredients I don't have. I'm not buying them right now to stop myself. I did tell you, I can whip up a bun, right, and use it as like a soup bowl, like a bread bowl, like within a couple of minutes. 4 tablespoons of flour, an egg, a little bit of water, pinch of salt. I don't even add salt. I throw herbs in mine even to make them more savory. And you can microwave them like mug cakes, except I started making them savory, turning them into buns. It takes so little, a few spoonfuls. One bag can last a long time if you only have one a day. But I've noticed that because I put the diabetes centers back in, and I spike really, really high on those. Anything with the flour, anything with real sugar in it. And stevia doesn't. Now, stevia has a kind of taste and it's pretty lasting, but sucralose and that kind of stuff makes me feel sick, all those fake ones. And Splenda is sugar with chlorine attached, so it's like, I don't want to drink seawater. But stevia comes from a green leaf plant, and it doesn't spike you the way any of those sugars do. It's a funny thing, right? So, but I've run out of my stevia. But unfortunately, I discovered I still had some icing powder, and I whipped up some icing once this summer. But mostly I've been good. So now that I know I've made the decision, I've committed myself to doing the steampunk weekend. I've gotta be more careful now. But I gave myself a week of donuts. Well, I didn't eat donuts every day, but I've tried 3 of the 4 Harry Potter donuts now. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but the animated attraction I've been watching is it's like the names of the godlike characters. They're like demons, and they're each named after a color, like vert for or blanc for like white, green, whatever their names. And the red has enslaved the blue and the green, and then the white and the purple are rogues. And they're all these demons are vying for control of the whole world. I don't know if you can recognize what that is. And then the main characters, the strongest demons, they reincarnate into other bodies. So the biggest baddie is now in a female body, but supposedly a male. And I think that's Blanc. Or yeah, I think that's Blanc. I don't know. But yeah. So that's something we were watching a little bit. The episodes are like 20 to 30 minutes long, so they don't take up too much time. You don't feel too guilty of sitting and watching one, and then you get up and move around and come back later for more. Oh, no, it's not new, but I'll have to add, if we see Traxer, because he would be getting ready to wake up and have his coffee soon. It's a 5:45 in the morning for him. Oh, that really messes with my mind. Um, I'll ask him what it's called again because I didn't write it down, but he was just like exposing me to new, well, stuff that's new to me, but it's a favorite series of his. Tensura. It's Tensura. Have you heard of that? I can't believe I remembered that. I hope he's proud of me. Tensura. Tensura. I'm writing that down. Yeah, Tensura. That's the one I was watching. I mean, it looks interesting. I like it because they're playing with color theory. I'm looking at for that. Of course, I'm mad that blue being my favorite color and green being Slytherin's house color are enslaved. I don't like that. But apparently there was a battle between demons, and if a demon beats you, then your race is forever bound to serve theirs. So like blue and green are wearing like a butler and a maid outfit, which drives me nuts. And then, yeah, it's a girl. Yes. And she has like white hair. She's very pretty and feminine, but really is a guy soul and is a slime. Yeah, that's the one. Have you seen it before? Yeah. And the other thing, I don't think I'm going to Fan Expo this year. I didn't go last year either. If I don't know if you're ever up at the same time as Traxer, but if you guys ever connect, he knows how to share his screen so you can watch his screen, like watch the video together. We do it through Facebook. We share screens through Facebook. That's how we make phone calls to each other. Um, Rather than Discord. I really just Discord, I don't know why, but it makes me sad. There's too many things going on in there. There's just so much. And so I kind of abandon it. People keep pulling me in and then I abandon it again. I'm terrible with it. Yeah. Let's see. If I'm on Twitch, it lets me hit the little buttons. Oh, yeah. I'm going to write it out. I think that's it. Yeah, it's amazing, like people that are monetized, the levels of intricacies of all the different rooms and stuff, but for me it's like there's too many places to be online. And I wanted my life to stay a little more simple for now. So do you have you been able to do anything to enjoy your summer, like camping or anything? Oh yeah, and Facebook isn't something that a lot of people are on anymore. It's just, I think when I was younger, it was just a thing people did, so I got one. And then it's only because I found out somebody was on it that we used it. But it's okay. I'm not in Instagram anymore. Um, and I don't know if you know, but just a warning. If Instagram, it cut me out because I refused to give them a video of my talking face, but apparently AI only needs 10 seconds of you talking um to replicate you, and people have been getting phone calls with an AI replicating the voice of someone they know who knows intimate details, like even the pet names and stuff of people for each other, to scam always urgent reasons why you have to give thousands of dollars to someone to bail someone out or get them out of jail or save their life or something like that. So if you get anything like that, call the person, call other phone numbers, and not phone numbers they're giving you. Call the people you know on the lines that you know to find out, because people I know have been hit with it. And I know, like, when I asked if the person who was being replicated is on Instagram, they are, and I can't prove it's Instagram, right? But It's just the common denominator that I know of this summer. It is terrifying. Like, cause we're not English, and so the fact that they knew the words we use to like terms for each other is like disturbing. And like, I was hacked earlier this year. It messed with everything. I had to change which bank I used and everything. And they don't stop coming after me. I recently got back into the hacked account, email account, but it happened back in February. And they're going after it again. But like they keep trying to go to the old bank where I used to have an account, keep trying to take my money. And so it's like I totally moved banks and whatever, and I don't want to buy anything online anymore or anything. Although I still do. I still do sometimes, but I clear caches. Um, but I'm no longer going to be on Instagram. So all the people that I met this year going to those conventions who are there, I can't talk to them. So unless they come and find me on Twitch or YouTube, I have no way to get a hold of them now. But yeah, just don't give people videos of your face speaking, because apparently they just need 10 seconds and they can replicate you. Which is, yeah. So basically, my whole family just has codes with each other now. Like, I'm never going to ask you for money for any reason. Don't give anybody money in my name. And, they're kind of worried about me streaming when this is going on, but I'm at least using a VTuber face. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, because if anybody wants to rip off a streamer's stuff, they could. What can we really do? I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, just to warn you about that. So, as much as I know people want me to be all over the place, I'm trying to keep it simple where I am. Well, okay. So, somebody I know said that. They said something like that. They like told our parents that if XYZ calls because they're in jail, like, don't call me, go be in jail because you deserved it if you're being that dumb. Like, I'm like, oh, you're heartless. And it was the one of us that I thought was the most smushy one of us who said that. I'm like, wow, what happened to you since I last saw you? Yeah. It's a different world out there now. I think one of my friends kept asking questions like, what would you say if we woke up and we're in the backseat of a police car? Or what would you say if we were back in the police car and somebody's, underwear was there? Or they're just different things, and just weird questions like that. And I'm like, what would you say? Like, I'd hope we had fun. But I see those TikToks where it shows like two women running in fear, and then they realize that they're crazy, and then they run back at the captors. Or like the TikToks where people are taking you hostage to like ransom you, but then you're cracking yourselves up because you can't be afraid of them and they want to let you go to get away from you. Like, that's the kind of annoying I would be with my friends. I've been binge watching a bit of something different. Cam Kirkman, although he has a girlfriend, he's starting to show her online and she's pretty and nice, so boo. Um he does different things, but he goes over 90s shows. So I don't know if you'd like this. Shows that I didn't necessarily watch myself, but wasn't necessarily watching TV back then. But he goes through the different shows like Super Nanny and these different kind of weird dating shows. I forget the names of them. And then I think he's looked at Love Island, and he just goes through different shows and game shows and stuff, and he like gives reactions to them, which can be pretty funny. And sometimes he does more serious cases, but it's fun. He does all the 90s shows. He takes a look at them because a lot of things don't age well, things that aren't politically correct anymore, if ever they were. Wife swap, that's a big one that he does. I can't see how someone would have done that. That would be really awkward. But I've been binge watching a bit of that lately too. Ooh, and I went to the Mopar car show last weekend, so I'll be making videos with that stuff later. I've done so many videos this year of like flowers and leaves blowing in the wind. I've narrated 2 very nice meditation videos. I just haven't populated the pictures for them yet. But I took all the assets. I collected so many assets this summer. So on that side, on the creative side, I've been okay. Yeah. I hope you never end up in jail. But it would be interesting if you did become like military police and arrested people. I knew one girl that was deathly shy in school and she ended up being a police officer. I'm like, when did that change happen? Because she was so shy. She would turn beet red if anybody looked at her and she had to talk in front of the class. Yeah. Now she's a police officer. I can't believe it. Anyways, FanRose, how are you feeling tonight? I think that I might actually be ready to tuck in and binge watch some stuff. And I'm feeling sleepy now. You'd be a local legend. Can I tell you? You're in the East Coast, right? Because when I was in the East Coast, I ended up in the 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock news for about 2 weeks. When I was over in Cape Breton. I got a whole group of us in trouble, and we ended up doing damage control by getting radio spots to explain to people what we were doing. FanRose, I hope you like the little surprise. I'm glad you got to see the story you inspired. I have 3 more stories I haven't shared yet, so I'll save them for next Friday's Tuck In and Chill. And until then, have a wonderful weekend. I'm so glad I got to start it off with you. I'm a bit eepy myself. But enjoy the anime, and I'm gonna enjoy my anime. And I'm sure I've heard of Bleach, so I could find it. I'm sure I've probably seen some of it before. I just don't remember right now off the top of my head. You're gonna see tonight my closing screen original as of last week and my new song. It's a theme song just specifically for the Tuck In and Chill night. I'll only play the last minute or so of it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we got to do things the OG way tonight, and I hope you enjoy my parting screen and song. Until I see you again, I'll be live on Twitch tomorrow night around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I don't know, and then 9 o'clock maybe, and then again I'll be back normal time this month in August. Because of my night school stuff going on, I'm at 5:30 on Tuesday, but 6 o'clock on Sunday playing WoW and chit-chatting. Thank you so much for being here on my stream, and thank you to everyone who gave us a lurk today or who's watching Asynchronously. FanRose FabRose, have a wonderful weekend ahead. Have sweet dreams tonight. Thanks for sharing this with me. It made it so wonderful and fun. And I'm Venus Callida, everybody. Have a great evening. I hope you enjoyed Tuck In and Chill. And I'll see you next time. Until then, toodaloo. And good night, FanRose. Take care so much. I'm making hearts with my fingers for you. Beep, beep. Good night. And here we go.
Let the old tales play. I'll keep the lantern burning till the shadows fade away. So tuck in and chill. my Msoul. The night is yours to keep. We'll wander through the haunted halls and drift among our dreams. The world can wait beyond the door. The battles wait until, for now, we're safe beneath the moon. Lay down your arms, rest your weary soul. The fire is warm, the night is cold. Sweet dreams, my Msoul, till our next adventure. I'm Venus, Callida, and this night we tuck in and chill.